So within the organization, leaders needs to understand this thing, that you have to treat your employees like your family,
Mm, mm,
so that they can stay longer with you.
mm,
Even in the
mm,
same, like you must have read that Oyo laid off Oyo. There were other companies who were laying off many people. So when I read this news, I was just thinking like, what mindset a newbie or a new joinee would be having. I have just joined the
mm,
organization, and this COVID thing is happening, and I don't know when I will get hired again. So this is a very tough situation, and a very, you know, the mindset I was having at that time was very shocking. And I was, talking to my employees and then saying, no matter what happens, we'll be staying together.
mm.
If you will be searching for the job, I'll be also searching for the job. But you will be staying with me only, so there will be no
Mm,
layoff. But talking about the coming back to the Oyo, I don't know what they were thinking and what they were doing.
mm.
Yeah. So
Yes, the providing some psychological safety to the people that are part of your team is important. It's a hard thing for uh, Western CEOs in particular to provide when the vast majority of Western CEOs are um, have um, they're focused on measures of performance and success um, in the absence of the rest of the employees and how they feel and think. Uh, a CEO will get paid millions of dollars and they'll have a nice big house and they'll have a beautiful car, and they're the board that they report to are driven by governance, which is predominantly financial and operational and legal. Where within that construct does it include looking after your employees and how they think and feel? And if somebody in HR says, "Oh, we really should," it ends up being a an outside program that comes in and is bolted on, and you have there's a certain amount of money that the company pays a psychology firm for your if you want to talk to somebody. Um, that's pretty shit. So, but it's we've seen it done properly before. So there's precedence, which mean, and it has worked, such as Panasonic. They don't. When in 1929, when there was a Great Depression, Konosuke made it clear to his employees that I'm not going to let go of anyone, and because you were there for me during the good times, so it's why would I let go of you when it's during bad times? You looked after me. It's my job to look after you. And yeah, so they reduced production. He got people to work from one part of an organization to another part. But the benefit was that when the economic conditions turned and Panasonic's competitors went, "Oh, we want to take some of the Panasonic employees because they're already skilled," and the employees go, "Why would I go to you? This Panasonic's looked after me. I'm going to look after them. They looked after me during this terrible period, so I'll return the favor and look after them." And then, so suddenly, this organization has they're in the starting blocks, ready to go, bang, and off. They're already running down the track as where all the competitors have to hire, have to train, have to get them productive, and that can take years. And Panasonic they've looked after their employees and they're already performing. And after the 1920, after the Great Depression, that showed it was one of the, ended up becoming a $9 billion in the 80s, a $9 billion business where innovation was going from one part of the organization to the other. It was crazy. So a short window of pain delivered a long-term gain. Look after the people.
Correct. And this is also like I'm also talking to my friends, to my juniors also, and within their organization, they are having like facing one problem, that is people are getting laid off. Okay, and companies are taking advantage of them. Like if I'm a person having 5 years experience working in a very esteemed organization, I have been laid off, and eventually I have to get back home, and because I needs to be on a safer side, I need to be on a safer side. I have applied to multiple organizations, and the current package that I'm getting, I'm not getting half of that. And what do you think on this? Like, uh, there might be some people who are taking advantages of this and organization. So, what are your views on this? It's a very serious problem and needs to
Yeah,
be heard.
yeah. So where exploitation is, um, wherever an unethical organization can take advantage of people, they will.
Hmm.
And so that's where countries introduce regulations. Australia has some of the strictest regulations, which is good at safeguards, but we also, the country itself has like a social security ways to ensure that not only are there regulations to prevent or reduce exploitation and laws to penalize exploitation, but there's also a financial safeguard that the country provides to help weed out exploitation. So it's a bigger challenge, but as a brand agency, we don't work with. We're pretty quick to say no. We spend a lot of time up front trying to get to know the organization, and it doesn't matter how much money they want to throw at us if they are exploiting their employees. We're out. And with and as an entire industry, if every single brand agency said no to unethical employers and companies, then especially those ones, then that industry cuts off their voice. The power of a brand agency is to give that business a voice in the marketplace, and it will dull it to a point where it's probably a whisper, and then those ethical businesses will sing far more clearly and loudly in the marketplace. Warren Buffett, he about a decade ago, he started to pull his money out of non-renewable businesses and put his money into green business, and so then those businesses, because they provide greater returns on investment, but they green businesses deliver a ripple effect of value into the community and into the environment, and so over time, as more and more investors started to put their money into other green businesses and build up a market for green businesses, those that weren't green focused struggled, and so it takes time. So, but it's important that there's some kind of ethical framework from an employee's perspective. They also have to do the same thing. So we, at one part of the equation, are using our ethical power to send a message. Employees should also be able to say, no, I'm not working for you. We've seen examples of that throughout the past, where people will go on strike and not work for a company that has a poor safety record, or that the employer has reduced payment, or they're not paying what the industry recognizes and all that kind of stuff. So if employees should realize that they are the legs of the table on which the business is sitting on. And if they just stood up and said no, use their collective voice and power, then the employer is left to say, well, okay, we'll do it properly. And that's what we hope to see. There are certain countries where it's hard to do, but we try to make sure that even down to our shoes, we found it really hard to find manufacturers that were ethical. But the more and more, if more and more fashion brands start to become ethical, then that will change the manufacturers, and the manufacturers will change the way how they hire employees and how they pay them. Okay, we'll give them a living wage because that's a condition in being selected by the marketplace. Market forces isn't always the best answer, but it is part of the answer.